I'm here to review the unnecessary sequel, Buried Alive 2. The story begins with the death of Sam, who was played by Hoyt Axton in the first film. Yeah, you notice in my review to Buried Alive, I failed to mention him. I'm sorry. Hoyt Axton was good in the role of Sam. He played that role with such charm and grace. A role like that could easily have been forgettable, but Hoyt Axton really shines whenever he's on camera. I really like how his character just kind of slowly puts things together, and he does it so well. Best known as the dad from Gremlins. I'm sure you knew that. Anyway, Sam leaves $1,000 worth of stock to his niece Laura, played by Ally Sheedy, because she was the closest thing to a daughter to him. And her husband Randy, played by Stephen Caffrey, wants to buy a boat and sail away to the Caribbean, but Laura wants to settle down and have a family, and it doesn't go well with Randy. Unbeknownst to Laura, Randy is having an affair with Roxanne, beautiful blonde, and she's played by Tracy Needham. And she tells him, either divorce Laura or that's it, I'm not waiting any longer. So instead of divorcing her, he hears Cliff's story. Why would anybody get inspired by that story? I don't know. That how Cliff's wife poisoned him and all that, and tells him the whole story from the first film. Wow, it's amazing how does they know the whole story. Small towns for you. So Randy goes through with it, poisons Laura, and I don't want to tell you anymore. I really don't. Is this a great film? No. Is it an entertaining film? Yes. Ally Sheedy was good in the movie. She's very likable and very sympathetic as the role of Laura. I mean, you really feel for her character. I like the way, like Tim Matheson, she goes from good, wholesome person to the ultimate revengeinator, like Tim Matheson did. I gotta say, the revenge in this film was not quite as clever as it was in the first film. Don't think it was trying to be. Don't think they knew. I think the filmmakers knew they couldn't top that. Stephen Caffrey was okay in the role of Randy. I really didn't see much of him in anything. I'm not saying he's terrible, but I didn't really see much of him. Tracy Needham as Roxanne. I know she's been in some other stuff, but what I do remember her in was in the show Life Goes On. She played Paige, and I thought she was pretty good on that show. But here, I don't think there's much to her character. She's just in it here because she's beautiful and sexy. No other. I mean, William Matheson had more, and Jennifer Jason Leigh had more character. Even though they were the bad guys, they had more character development to them. But Roxanne and Randy really don't have much character to them. And there's a banter scene between Randy and Roxanne. Just it kind of goes in B-movie territory. I'm amazed the filmmakers thought how they let this be in the film. They knew this was not going to be a good film, and they said just go with it. And they knew they weren't going to top the first film, the first Buried Alive. They knew that would be a tough act to follow. It just gets ridiculous. It gets silly and gets too humorous for its own good. Just the banter scene. And Tim Matheson returns as Clint. I don't think he had any interest to reprise his role. He was only in it because they let him direct it. And so they did, and I don't think he's a good director, but I don't think he has Frank Darabont, who directed the first film's style of terror, the creepy angle shots of how like Hitchcock-like feel. I don't think Tim Matheson has that. I love the way he believes Laura's not really dead. I like a scene between her and Tim Matheson. I mean, they just share a good scene together. Is Buried Alive 2 a good film? No. It's an unnecessary sequel that didn't even need a sequel, so I suggest watch the first film